It's 8 o'clock, so we can start. So today, who will start reading? Alavi, Tuesday is your day.
Yes, Rangada, I can read.
Okay, go ahead. Read the first para.
The divine work. One question remains for the seeker upon the way of works when his quest is or seems to have come to its natural end. Whether any work or what work is left for the soul after liberation and to what purpose. Equality has been seated in the nature or governs the whole nature. There has been achieved a radical deliverance from the ego idea, from the pervading ego sense, from all feelings and impulsions of the ego and its self will and desires. The entire self consecration has been made not only in thought and heart, but in all the complexities of the being. A complete purity or transcendence of the three gunas has been harmoniously established. The soul has seen the master of its work and lives in his presence, or is consciously contained in his being, or is unified with him, or feels him in the heart or above and obeys his dictates. It has known its true being and cast away the veil of the ignorance. What work then remains for the worker in man, and with what motive, to what end, in what spirit will it be done?
There you are. So very clear statement. And the question, we have to answer the question one by one. Okay, so just 1 minute. I get rid of this. Good morning, Kiran.
Good morning, Rangada.
So, Shlenda is now saying, once you have more or less achieved the goal and you have risen to the self and you have had a glimpse of the divine and you have removed your ego and your samatha is well established, what is the work? In the beginning, the work that we do is imperfect, but it is the way to get the divine consciousness. The work we do is used as an instrument. We have to devote our work, whatever we are doing. Naturally, it is egoistic and self-centered in the beginning. But if you remember and offer, it's good enough. And then the time comes when the consciousness is changed completely. So when it is changed completely, or not fully complete also, but half complete, what is the work to be done? So we'll read the sentence and see whether it's clear. I also have a question towards the end of the para, so we'll see whether we can solve that problem. One question remains for the seeker upon the way of works. So we are still discussing Karma Yoga. Remember, we had finished reading Jnana Yoga long ago, and we are now doing Karma Yoga. And next will be the Bhakti Yoga. That is a very short section. Okay. But now we are doing Karma Yoga. One question remains for the seeker upon the way of works. When his quest is or seems to have come to its natural end. So Sedgwick is saying, even if it is not 100%, okay, it can still be partly successful, even if it is half. Very clearly he is saying that. Or seems to have come to its natural end. Okay? Whether any work or what work is left for the soul after liberation and to what purpose? Equal it now. What is meant by having achieved your goal? He is telling you. Equality has been seated in the nature or governs the whole nature. Now, when you use the word governs, when you use the word or, he is using a slight different gradation. Okay? So, what he is saying here, let's see. Whether equality has been seated in the nature or governs the whole nature. In other words, when it is seated in the nature, still some old desires and all that will still be there. But when it governs the whole nature, egoism has gone completely and you are absolutely equal to everything. Okay? So see, he is giving you even a gradation. Seated in the nature is less than governs the whole nature. The divine doesn't wait for you to become absolutely perfect. Nobody can become absolutely perfect in the beginning. And remember also that perfection has a gradation. Okay, so that's why Sri use the words perfect, perfection, true, truth, and things like that. Okay, so that's why it takes the trouble of telling you the different grades also. Equality has been seated in the nature or governs the whole nature. There has been achieved a radical deliverance of the ego idea. Okay? Ego idea has gone. Now, he's using the word ego idea and ego sense. Now, ego sense is very interesting because ego idea, very clearly, you are conscious of your ego. Okay? But the ego sense, we do many things unconsciously for ourselves. So that's the ego sense. Okay? There's a distinction between the two. The ego idea is very clear. You are quite conscious of your ego and you are doing things for yourself. In the beginning, it is legitimate. But once you have realized the purpose of life, then the ego is conquered. Okay? Ego idea and pervading ego sense from all feelings and impulsions of the ego and its self-will and desires. Now it's interesting, man has the ego idea, but do animals have an ego sense? Certainly they do, because they fight for their own food, they fight for their own mates, okay? So all this is ego sense. They are not conscious of ego, they don't even know what ego is, but they have that sense. Whatever they are doing it for themselves. Okay? So that's very clear. Idea of pervading, everything is there. In the animal, it is all pervading. Okay? From all feelings and impulsions of the ego and its self-will and desires. The next sentence. The entire self-consecration has been made. You have completely given yourself up to the divine. Okay? Not only in thought and heart, but in all the complexities of the being. Now the thought is the mind and the heart is the higher vital, but also in the lower vital. The complexities. The complexities are the vital has many layers, just as the mind also has got layers. Okay? The mind, there is a physical mind at the lowest level, then there is a vital mind, and then there is the pure mind or reason. Now, the vital also exactly is the same way. There is a physical vital, then there is a vital, and there is a mental vital. Okay? There is a difference between mental vital and vital mental. There are also gradations. Shivananda goes into that in some place and he says there are all these are small gradations, one by one, we are going up. They're slightly different from each other. Okay? So, an entire consecration has been made, not only in thought and heart, but in all the complexities. So, what are the complexities? That's what we discussed just now. The physical vital, the mental vital, and all these different grades. Okay? They are the complexities. A complete purity or transcendence of the three gunas has been harmoniously established. Okay? You remember when he discusses the gunas, we have seen that in the physical world, when man is in the ego, the gunas are all unequal. Somebody, in some cases, the sattva will be more larger than the others. In some other cases, the rajas may be more than the others. They are all unequal. And some tamas may be more than the others. Okay? And when you say that, then you say this man is lazy. Then when you say that man is overactive, and when you say that when the mind is sattvic, then you say he is a very sattvic person. He is a very thoughtful person. So these are the different grades of the gunas. Okay? But when your mind goes to the, when your consciousness goes to the self, the gunas are absolutely equal to each other. That is why there is no action. In the self or the Brahmic consciousness, there is no action. There is absolute stillness, immutability. And that means that the gunas are equal to each other. None of them are dominant. Okay? Absolutely. You become Trigunatita. So complete purity or transcendence or the guna has been harmoniously achieved. Here also, Sridhar is saying or, he's using the word or, okay? A complete purity. Okay? So, if you are even in the gunas, if you are there, a complete purity is possible. Okay? The mind may be pure, the vital may be pure. Okay? So, but transcendence means absolutely none of these, you have gone beyond that. Okay? So there is a difference again there between the two. Complete purity is gunas may be there, but they are quite settled and equal to each other. But transcendence means no sign of the gunas at all. Transcendence means you are in the transcendental, which means that there is no nature there at all. And nature is exactly what the gunas are. Okay? Or the three gunas have been harmoniously accepted. The soul has seen the master of his works and lives in his presence, or is consciously contained in his being, or is unified with him, or feels him in the heart, or above, and obeys his dictates. Here also see all the gradations. It's very interesting how Sridhar is so accurate. The soul has seen the master of his works. Okay, that may be a very big experience, or it may have been a glimpse. Okay, and lives in his presence. There is no union, huh? There is a presence. When does that happen? When you are in a bhakti yoga. When you are in the bhakti yoga, you are not united with the divine, but you are living in his presence. Okay? Or is consciously contained in his being. You feel that you are in the divine consciousness. You feel that you are in the divine consciousness, but separate. The third one, you have become the divine yourself. Is unified with him, or feels him in the heart, only in the heart, or above. You feel the divine is there above and obeys his dictates. So you see how many different types of spiritual experience can be there. First of all, lives in his presence. You are there and the divine is there and you adore him, and he is different and you are different, you are living in his presence. Or consciously contained in his being. You feel that you are in the divine consciousness all the time, but you are conscious of your own existence. But unified with him. Now you are not conscious of your own existence at all. You feel yourself to be divine. Or is consciously contained in his being, or is unified with him, and or feels him in the heart. Only part of your heart you will feel that he is there. In the beginning, that's what happens. Okay? When you feel that the divine is there within you, guiding you. Or above. The divine may also be above. And whatever it be, you are obeying his dictates. Whatever he tells you to do, you are doing. In other words, he is telling us also now what to do and what not to do, but we can't obey because we don't know what the dictate is. But when you have purified yourself, removed the ego, become absolutely equal, naturally you will be able to know his dictates. It has known its true being and cast away the veil of the ignorance. So, which is the true being? The self or the psychic being. Both are the true being. Cast away the veil of the ignorance. You are not seeing multiplicity anymore. Even if you see, you know so that it's only an image. What work then remains for the worker in man, and with what motive? Even if he has to do some work, what is the motive? How to do it? And to what extent? In what spirit will he put it? So you can see it's a very small para, but when you go on adding or, you have to understand what he's saying. There's so many different ways of realizing the divine. Now we can read the next one. Yes, tell me.
And let me explain that what are the factors of trigunas at the level of self and at the level of transcendence. Please, once more, Dada.
Oh, when you are at the level of the self, okay. Now, what is the question actually?
What is the status of the Raja and the Tamas at the level and at the level of transcendence?
I understood. When you are in the self, you are part of the universe. Okay? You feel yourself to be part of the universe. You may have even a cosmic consciousness. Okay? But when you are in the transcendent, then you are not part of the universe. You feel the universe is unreal. But here he is speaking only of the divine. Because when the universe is unreal, okay, then you are not conscious of the divine. You are not conscious of the master of the work. The personal aspect is not there. You are only in a Brahmic consciousness and there is no God there. I don't know if you understood. Okay? When you are in the self, two things can happen. Okay? As Srendra said very clearly in the light divine. Either you see the physical world as unreal and you are in a consciousness which is immutable, actionless, pure, and free, and not affected by the world at all. You are outside the world and the world doesn't exist for you. Even if it exists, it's only a shadow play. That is one experience you can have of the self. But that is the experience of the self in the transcendence. Okay? But you can also have a cosmic consciousness. And in that case, you are not rejecting the world. So if you are, here Srendra is speaking very clearly of the case where you are in the cosmic consciousness. So you are conscious of the divine within you or above you. Okay? So if you are conscious of the divine within you, the title of the previous chapter was the master of the work. It's a personal aspect of the divine. Okay? When you are in the impersonal aspect of the divine, there is no incentive to work because the world is unreal. Okay? I don't know if you follow.
Okay. Thank you, Dada. Thank you.
Okay? So, the two, in the sense, there are two experiences. Yes, Ashwin, you want to say something?
Yes. Can I make a request, please?
Go ahead.
That, this, what is the physical vital and the vital mind, and all these 9 different grades are quite confusing, although they fuse one into another.
Yeah.
So can you take a class and go right from the base one and then build up to the pure mind, the pure physical?
Yeah.
It's very confusing. Or can you tell us from where to read that? So we can read that and then you can explain to us.
No,
Like what is the vital and the physical vital and the mental vital?
remember,
I find it a little confusing.
actually, it's not very confusing at all. It is quite clear because there are three levels. Okay, since you are asking, let's just have a quick look at it. It's not very complicated. First of all, there is only the body, okay, at the lowest level. Then there's a life which is at a slightly higher level. But the two are in contact with each other. Okay? So at the lowest level, it is only body without the vital. Or even if the vital is there, it is sleeping, like the stone. Okay? Now, what we are discussing is true for the universe as well as the individual. Remember that. That's an important part to remember. Otherwise, one gets confused. Is it the universe or is it the individual? So that you must be very clear. Both are coexisting together. So right at the bottom is the pure matter. Okay. We know that in the involution, everything is there in matter, but it is sleeping. For practical purposes, we can say pure matter. Then when life comes up, there is an interaction between the two. Then when life comes in, there is a level where the life is there without the influence of the body, without the influence of matter. So when there is an influence of matter on the vital, it is the vital physical. And which is that? Very clearly, it is the nerves in the body. The nerves in the body are carrying sensations to the brain. So there is energy in it. In fact, it works by electricity. You know that. All the nerves work by electricity, biocurrents. They're generated in the body itself. So that is the physical vital. Okay? Clear up to now?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Now just see, if you think of the muscle tissue, okay, it is not conducting any electricity. There is less life in it than in the nerves. Okay, in that sense that it is the body reaction. Muscles do work, but not as much of vitality in it as the nerves. The nerves are the ones that have more energy in it. Okay, so that is one thing. Then you come to the vital. Okay, only the vital without the influence of either the mind or the matter or the body. That's a pure vital, pure energy. Actually, in the physical world, there is no such thing as pure energy. There is no pure matter, there is no pure energy, there is no pure mind. They're all mixed in grades. That's exactly what we're discussing. Then, when you come to the mind, okay, mind also comes in. There's an interaction now between all the three. So, let's take the mind interacting with the body. Okay, that's what is called the manas. Okay, the manas is the physical mind. In other words, the mind part is only interpreting the senses that you are experiencing. The senses experience different sensations: taste, sound, sight, touch, okay, and smell. And the mind is the one that is interpreting. Now you are smelling sweet. Now you are tasting sour. Now you are feeling hot with the touch. So these are the manas, the physical mind. Clear? Then,
Rangana,
yeah, tell me.
the physical vital and vital physical, are they the same?
Not really same. As I said, there's a relation. It's a combination of both. When you say physical vital, it is more the physical.
Ah.
It is more the physical. Okay.
And
Maybe,
vital physical?
pardon?
So physical vital and vital physical,
Yeah.
how are they different?
Very slight differences there. Just compare. Okay, I've just not thought of it. So I'm telling you, is it not true that the muscle and the nerve, there is a difference between the two? The nerves are sensitive. Okay, they are very sensitive, and the muscle is not sensitive in that way. Okay, so, isn't it? So there is a difference between the two. The vital physical and the physical.
When there
Yes.
is more influence of the physical thing on the vital, then it is physical vital. When there is more influence of the vital on the physical, then it is vital physical.
That's right. That's right. So similarly with the mind. But now with the mind, there is a problem because there are three things, not two. So first of all, there is a physical mind, which is the senses, the manas. Okay. The manas acts, it interprets the sensations that the five senses are getting. Then there is the vital mind. The vital mind is that which your desires throw. Desire is vital, but it throws its influence on the mind and says, hey, today I want to eat something nice. Okay? So it affects the mind. That's a vital mind. Okay. Then there's a pure mind. The pure mind is reason, the as far as possible objectivity. Okay, that's a reason. The pure mind is called rationality. Okay, that means to say the vital and the body are not affecting the mind very much. Normally, the body and the vital are always affecting the mind. always. But in a mind who is sattvic, the one who is more inclined in the mind, he tries to be objective about things, about himself also. Okay? So that is the pure mind. But the real pure mind is when you go to the self. That becomes the higher mind. There is a mentality there which is absolutely not touched at all by the three gunas, the body, the vital, and the mind. Sattva, rajas, tamas don't affect the higher mind at all, which is in the self. The higher mind is the self. Okay. So some clarity has come, Yasmin.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. So it's only a question of gradation. The basic thing is like the rainbow colors, they run into each other, but there is something more and sometimes less. Okay. Just as in the triple status of supermind also. That is why Srendra is going on giving you all the different grades. Just now we saw in one, he gave you 4 grades. You are feeling the divine in your heart, or you are feeling the divine in the above you, or you are living in the divine, or you have become united with him. Basically, experiences of divine, but there are 4 different grades. Okay, so these grades are there always. That's why you will see all through those texts, always using the word or. Slight difference, slight difference, slight difference. So accurate is it. It includes everybody's experience. Okay? So, what is the time? 8:26. So we can read the next para. So can we read the next para? So who will read?
Yes. Do you want me to read?
Yes, why not? There is one answer.
There is one answer with which we are all familiar in India. No work at all remains, for the rest is quiescence. When the soul can live in the eternal presence of the Supreme, or when it is united with the Absolute, the object of our existence in the world, if it can be said to have an object, at once ceases. Man, released from the curse of self division and the curse of ignorance, is released too from the other affliction, the curse of works. All action would then be the degradation from the supreme state and a return into the ignorance. This attitude towards life is supported by an idea founded on the error of the vital nature, to which action is dictated only by one or all of the three inferior motives, motives, necessity, restless instinct and impulse or desire. The instinct or impulse, quiescent, desire extinguished, what place is there for works? Some mechanical necessity might remain, but no other, and even that would cease forever with the fall of the body. After all, even so, while life remains, action is unavoidable. Mere thinking, or in the absence of thought, mere living, is itself an act and a cause of many effects. All existence in the world is work, force, potency, and has a dynamic effect in the whole by its mere presence, even the inertia of the cloth, even the silence of the immobile Buddha on the verge of nirvana. There is question only of the manner of the action, the instruments that are used, that act of themselves, and the spirit and knowledge of the worker. For in reality, no man works, but nature works for him for the self expression of a power within that proceeds from the infinite. To know that and live in the presence and in the being of the master of nature, free from desire and the illusion of personal impulsions is the one thing needful. That, and not the bodily cessation of action, is the true release from the bondage of works at one season. A man might sit still and motionless forever and yet be as much bound to the ignorance as the animal or the insect. But if he can make the greater consciousness dynamic within him, then all the works of all the worlds could pass through him, and yet he would remain at rest, absolute in calm and peace, free from all bondage. Action in the world is given its first uh, is given us first as a means for our self development and self fulfillment. But even if we reached a last possible divine self completeness, it would still remain as a means for the fulfillment of the divine intention in the world and of the larger universal self, of which each being is a portion that has come down with it from the transcendence.
Yeah. Okay. So, longish para, quite long para. Don't know if you can finish it, but we'll see. So, what works to be done is being answered. And you will remember that Sremda has got, he will refer to all the answers. Okay? He'll refer to a lot of answers. Now, one thing you must remember, he is using the word curse, curse, curse here 3-4 times. Okay. Is Sremda saying this? No. You must be very, very clear about that. Sremda is not saying curse. Not at all. Because he doesn't consider the word a curse at all. So why is he saying that? Because note the first sentence. There is one answer with which we are very familiar in India. So he is telling us this whole para is dictated by the first sentence itself. This is very much very, very careful. Okay. Now, whatever he is saying is that familiar answer in India. Okay. It is not he who is speaking. This is his style. So you must be very, very careful. I'm giving you a good hint about this because it does not immediately occur to us that he is not talking of it as a curse. The first sentence of each para determines what he's going to say and how he is going to say. Okay? So the entire paragraph is discussing only the answer familiar in India. Okay? So no work remains at all, but the rest is quiescence. When you have gone to the self, everything is calm and quiet. The soul is absolutely free. The body mind life is going on working like a puppet, okay, like before, and it is not the soul that is working at all. When in our case, we are identified with the body mind life, we think that we are working, and that's an illusion. Okay, that he will tell you later on. When the soul can live in the eternal presence of the Supreme, or when it is unified with the Absolute, there again, see, eternal presence of the Supreme is a bhakti path. You are separate from the divine. Or unified with the Absolute, the Jnana Yoga path. Okay? So, the object of our existence in the world, if it can be said to have an object, at once ceases. Why is he saying that? Because once you have reached the divine, there is no object. The only object is to do the divine work. That's why there's no objects. We have plenty of objects in our life. We want to have a family, we want to earn well, we want to build a house, okay, and have a family. All these are the objects. But when you realize the divine, there is absolutely no object at all. Unless the divine is telling you to do something. But it's not your object anymore, it's his object. When the soul can live in the eternal presence of the Supreme, or when it is unified with the Absolute, the object of our experience in the world, now that's why he's so careful, if it can be said to have an object at all, okay, at once ceases. No object in the physical world. Okay? Man, released from the curse of self-division and the curse of ignorance, is released too from that other affliction, the curse of works. Because why is it a curse? According to the others, it's a curse because the moment you engage in action, then ego comes in, number one, and secondly also desire comes in. So you want the work that you are doing to be successful. So that's what happens. Okay, so he's mentioning that. So that is the reason why the one in India usually don't do any work. Because if you do work, you will get desire and you will get attachment. Naturally, it is not Srindu's path because Srindu wants you to work, and also there is plenty of work to be done in the physical world, in the interior world. Man released from the curse of self-division and the curse of ignorance is released too from the other affliction, the curse of works. In other words, you are not working at all. You have gone to the self, and the self, your consciousness is immutable, actionless, static, free. So there's no work for you. All action would then be a derogation. It's also a degradation in a way, degradation, but it's a derogation. Derogation means like a delegate. It is delegated from the supreme state and a return into the ignorance. So it's not the divine work. The divine work that is given to you becomes degraded and it's delegated to you. But in the physical world, it goes back into ignorance. Because in the physical world, you are not in the self, you are in the identified with nature. You are subject to the gunas. So that's why you are in ignorance. This attitude towards life, which attitude is idea familiar in India. That once you realize the divine, no need to do any work. This attitude towards life is supported by an idea founded on the error of the vital nature. Now he's telling you that there's some justification, but that justification is based on an error of the vital nature. And what is that? To which action is dictated only by one or all three inferior motives: necessity, restless instinct, and impulse or desire. So Sridhar is saying there is an idea, wrong idea, that the work in the world for everybody is executed because of three things. Necessity. Okay? I have to earn my living, so I have to work. I go to a job, get a job. I go to the market and buy vegetables because I have to eat. Necessity. Okay? Restless instinct. Okay? That's a vital. Dying for action. Okay? Or impulse or desire. You act because of desire. Desire is one of the biggest motives of action. The instinct or impulse quiescent. Okay. Now these three things, instinct or impulse quiescent, desire extinguished, what place is there for works? Only necessity remains. Necessity is only two things: food and sleep. But the yogi only two things remain: food and sleep. The instinct or impulse, some mechanical necessity might remain. So that mechanical necessity is exactly what you said just now: food, okay? And rest also. The, some mechanical necessity might remain, but no other. And even that would cease forever with the fall of your body. If your body is not there, question of sleep and food doesn't arise, so you are completely free. Okay? That's a general idea, which Shreya does not agree with. Okay? Yeah. The instinct or impulse question, desire extinguished, what place is there for works? Okay? Some mechanical necessity might remain, but no other. And even that would cease forever with the fall of the body. But after all, even so, while life remains, action is unavoidable. Even if you are sitting still, as you say, there is action going on all the time. Even in the stone, the atoms are whirling around. So that's action. Okay. Mere thinking. No, sorry, it's a fall of the body. But after all, even so, while life remains, action is unavoidable. Mere thinking, or in the absence of thought, mere living is itself an act. Again, see how accurate Shambhu is. Mere thinking, normal man. Absence of thought, you are a yogi. Okay? No thought at all. Mere living is itself an act and a cause for many other effects. How? Your heart is beating. That is work. Work means movement. So, when you are sitting quiet, your mind is active. There is mental activity. That is life. All existence in the world is work, force, potency, and has a dynamic effect in the whole by its mere presence. Even the inertia of the cloud, even the silence of the immobile Buddha on the verge of Nirvana. So, it is 8:40 past, so we'll have to stop here. Next time, we'll continue with, there is a question only of manner. Okay. It's quite a big paragraph, we can't finish it, so we'll just leave it at that. Okay. So, Yasmin raised a question about the different grades. Okay. Mental, vital, physical. I hope it was clear. Just remember there's a gradation, and all these three are getting mixed up with one another. That's all. These are very complicated. Okay.
Yes, if you want to read in details.
It's quite clear.
What about Rangada?
Yasmin, can you hear me?
Archana was saying something.
Yes.
Yasmin, I was
Yes.
talking to Yasmin. Yasmin, if you
Huh.
want to read this in detail, letters
Huh.
on yoga, parts and planes of the being. It's a long portion,
Okay.
but patiently read it. Then you can get
Okay.
an inkling of how he has put it. Okay. But yes, Rangada put it in a nutshell in a very simple manner.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Rangada.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss.
Bye, everybody. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Rangada.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Dada. Thank you.